Welcome back once again to Divine Invocations Tarot. Just to let you know, this is the only tarot Indian tarot decks YouTube channel. So if you like my work, you might want to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I do not do any personal readings, and the deck that I'm using right now is the Gods and Goddesses deck, mantras, blessings, and meditations. All right. Perfect. The deck is all set for you. There are three cards on the table, and all these three cards pertain to the reading for you for the coming days. The first card is Sita, the Queen of Chastity. The next card is Nityanand Prabhu, the Deliverer of the Most Fallen. And the third card is Mohini Murti, the Divine Enchantress. Let's read out the message from the first card. Let's invoke the presence of Sita Devi by this mantra. Udbhavo Sthita Samhara Karinim Klesha Harinim Sarvashreyakarim Sitam Natoham Rama Vallabham. I offer my reverence to Rama's beloved Sita, the source of the world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, the remover of all the miseries and the bringer of all auspiciousness from the Tulsi Ramayana. The blessings to receive is fidelity in love, devotion to truth, penance and tolerance, and power to improve upon one's self. Do you see this fire? Do you see this white dress? So, irrespective of who is listening to this message, if you're a male or a female, that does not matter. The symbolic meaning of the card is very spiritual. The reason being, the fire is not burning the body. Like, for example, if you create fire of tapa, tapa means you pay respect and devotion to God to such deep levels, like the way Sita is merging with the divine. So, this fire means you should be ready to make sacrifices. And when you do that, you will never not suffer, because all the karmas you are creating when you're sacrificing is moving towards your divinity. That means you will create more divinity within yourself when you start to learn to make sacrifices. So do not be afraid or hesitant of the steps which you have already taken in your life. It is something based on the experiences, the ideas, but not based in out of confusion. Everything that you're doing in life is a movement towards your divinity. And when you see the images of the other lords paying respect by folding their hands, this simply means your sacrifice is never going in vain. Never forget that. So, if you get to a point in the coming days that you might have to sacrifice something, understand the hidden thing. The hidden thing within that is you are not just spiritually evolving as a person when you sacrifice, you are evolving as a human being. And when I say evolving as a human being, your evolution is affecting other people's life in a positive way. There is no doubt about it. All right, that's the message from the first card. Second card is Nityanand Prabhu, the deliverer of the most fallen. Let's read out and invoke his presence by this mantra. Nityanandam aham vande karunamaya vigraham harinam pradam devam avadhuta shiromanim. I offer salutations to Nityanand Prabhu, the embodiment of compassion, who appeared as the topmost renunciate in order to distribute the holy names of God to all. Blessings to receive, love of God, empathy and love for mankind, compassion and charity, perfection in God's name chanting. So, understand the fact that what is happening next or what is happening first is not important. What is important is how do you react to a situation, isn't it? So when you are living your life, when you are in the process of moving across the minutes, hours, days of a week, there are times when you become wavered. You're not sure about what you're thinking. So in those times, you have to make sure that you keep the engines going. That means you have to keep chanting God's name. And when you keep doing it, there is a possibility that you have to make sacrifices. You will be tested. But understand the fact that you are not giving any test to anybody. You are ready to burn, not burn to the point when you reduce yourself to ashes, because you are an Atman, you are a soul living in that body. So, when you are making the right set of sacrifices, when you're actually moving towards a higher plane, from fire to the white, which is the white light or the divinity which is in your heart, you're able to connect with that. But there are times when you'll be wavered. Is the time when Nityanand Prabhu's grace will bless you. You will need to keep chanting God's name. That's the message from Him. So do not be afraid or hindered or affected by situations in which people try to inflict pain or sorrow in your mind. This is a time for you to rise, and by His grace, you will be able to rise. The next card is Mohini Murti, a very beautiful card. Let's read out and invoke her presence. Asad Avishyam, Arigrim, Bhava Gamyam, Prapanan, Amritam Amara Varanya Asata, Asatyat, Sindhu Mathyam, Kapata Yuvati, Vesha Mohoyam, Yah Shurashrim, Tam Aham Upasratanam, Kamapuram Natosmi. Assuming the form of a young woman and thus bewildering the demons, the Lord distributed the nectar produced the churning from the ocean of milk to his devotees, the gods. Unto that Lord, who always fulfills the desire of his devotees, I offer my respect. Blessings to receive is taste of nectar of immortality, ability to not be overcome by sexual guile, perception to see through tricksters and cheats, knowledge of when it is appropriate to give preferential treatment. So, a very interesting message for you in the coming days. Now, you've seen the fact that if you allow yourself to submit, there is a risk. There is a risk in the fact that the relationship may not go the way you'd expect it to be. The bosses may not be, contributing towards your growth. Your friends may not be living with you or will desert you. So understand the fact that life is about movement of how and when you take decisions. So, as you can see the picture, Lord Vishnu appeared in the form of a very beautiful woman, Mohini Murti. So she appeared to make sure that the divine nectar is given to the gods, not to the demons. The demons were already enchanted by her beauty and they were wanting her. They were distracted completely, not by, they wanted the nectar of immortality, but what they received was nothing. So, what I mean to say is, the people who are trying to gain from you in negative ways will always get into that situation of uncertainty, confusion, because your beauty is creating that illusion for them. But your divinity is reaching the people, the kind of masses who should be receiving it. So, your sacrifices will help you grow spiritually and as a person. If you get to a point when you're not feel guided, you have to make sure that you chant God's name and receive the divinity. And when you keep receiving divinity, your face will start to glow. You will gain that spiritual self which you acquired from worshipping the gods within you. The demons will always remain delusional, they remain in the darkness, because you have found a way not just to take care of this balance. You have to strike a balance. You have to understand that if you allow negativity to affect you, it will. So why would you want to think about the lines when you are letting the inner demons take control of you? So understand the simple fact that when you have the divinity, you will have the power to spread it. And when this nectar flows, it flows not just from within your heart, it flows into your body, in your mind, in your conscious states. And this nectar is through the power of communication, you will be able to affect other people's lives in positive ways. So, the message is very simple: learn to make sacrifices And learn to understand that if you feel that you have fallen, chant God's name, and then when you create that more divinity, you will attract demons or negativities also. So understand that your nectar, you have the power to give the nectar to the people who deserve it. So that's the message for the week. Jai Shri Krishna.